Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So we're ready to start? Wonderful. Okay. So first of all, congratulations. I just saw some clips from your show. It looks amazing. In your own words, what can we expect?
Tommy?
What we wanted to do was create an event that would allow everybody at home to have the same seat. So when you go to see the theater, some people sit house left, some people sit house right, or in the mezzanine, or in the dress circle, or in the orchestra. And this gives everyone the same vantage point. We wanted to try to, as best we could, honor and capture the spirit and the energy of what it felt like to be in the theater in New York City in 2016 with this marvelous company. And we wanted to memorialize that and get as many people as we could access to this show that we worked really hard on and are proud of, and feel was something that could be shared in a way that expanded beyond the walls of the theater.
And the whole corona crisis, the whole lockdown helps probably. People love streaming at home now. It helps a little bit, I guess.
Well, the trickiest part of this for us who create theater for a living is that there's no theater anywhere right now. We don't feel safe gathering right now. And so I just feel really grateful that we had this piece of theater that Tommy has been editing for the past 3 years. And even more than giving everyone access to Hamilton, which I'm really proud of, we're also giving them a giant reminder of the magic of live theater. And that feels really important in this time.
Okay. Okay. What I find out during watching the clip, I think that the best way to see a piece like that is live. But there is a big difference watching it at TV, because you can show more details. You have close-ups. You never have close-ups live on stage. So that's probably a benefit for watching this.
Well, I think that you can have close-ups in a different way on stage. The way that you focus the eye is with your lighting designer and your choreographer and your set designer. That's where you can create focus when you're working in a proscenium, when you're on stage. When you're making a movie, it's you and the DP, the cinematographer, that are really telling you where to look, and you have much more control, because I can try to tell you where to look on stage, but you actually can go anywhere. With film, you have much more control. The challenge in our show is that when you go to a close-up or a medium shot, it means you're not able to access a lot of the ensemble who are also doing a lot of storytelling in the physical vocabulary of Andy Blankenbuehler's choreography. So in this film, every time we made a decision to go to a close-up, we had to really consider what we weren't seeing on stage, as opposed to just what we would be seeing in the lens. And so that was a balance and a constant conversation with Jonah Moran, my editor. And we really want to try to honor the work that Andy had done and this incredible ensemble.
Okay. What's the secret behind that enormous success?
If I knew the secret, we would bottle it and sell it. I do know that I think the show met a moment. I think the show does a lot of things that feel overdue for musical theater. One, the music feels really contemporary, and I think we're always so hungry for that in musical theater. I remember the way I felt when I saw Rent for my 17th birthday, and I said, this doesn't sound like 200 years ago, this sounds like right now. And so I think that's part of it. But again, that's not, I think the staying power of it is the story itself. When you reckon with how much Hamilton did in his short time on Earth, it makes you go home and think, what am I doing with my life? I know I felt that way when I read Ron Chernow's biography, and that infused the writing of like, what are we supposed to do with our short time here? And I think it asks that question in a really over and over again. The theme, one of the big themes is who lives, who dies, who tells your story. It speaks to what we do and how we're remembered. And I think that's something every human grapples with.
So during the lockdown, you have a break, I guess. Is that like a sportsman, like an athlete? Have you practice and training during this time to be ready for going back on stage, or how have you survived this crazy time?
I mean, for me, I don't think I did anything the first month except try to adapt to the new reality of the world. It was figuring out how my son finished kindergarten and what virtual learning looked like. It was figuring out our protocols every time we had to leave our apartment building. So there's not a lot of creative space when you're just trying to figure out what the new survival rules are. But now that we have sort of settled into this and we're many months into it, I think the question becomes, what do we make in this time? Do we write to this moment? Do we write to before this moment? Do we, we don't know what the other side of the world looks like once we found a vaccine for this disease, and what kind of world we're emerging into. So I have a lot more questions than answers. And I guess my short answer is I'm not working out as much as I should be. I couldn't get on a Broadway stage right now.
Sure. At least, is there a message? Can people get a message from that piece?
I think one of the big themes in the show, and I think it's resonant now, and it was resonant in 2016, is the stories. We make things, but we don't control how they're perceived. We live our lives and we don't control how we're remembered. And there's a freedom in sort of giving that up and just doing your best. But it's, I think what moves people about the show is that this story that took place 200 some odd years ago still resonates in us because we're human.
Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure, and congratulations again. I hope I see you soon live on stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Philip.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.